Okay, well, I have 3 o'clock, so I am very, very excited. As anyone who knows me knows that I would be. DeltaNet 6 is, I believe, something to really be excited about, and I have the privilege of sharing it with you for the first time. We have had a pilot team, mostly office managers and admins, to give us some feedback and get try to get some things started. But for the most part, everyone on this webinar are the first people to actually see it live and being rolled out today. So thank you for being here. The webinar is being recorded. I would ask you, normally I have you put your questions in the little chat bubble, but for today, I would ask if you would hold all of your questions. And I know that's going to be really hard, but I have so much to get through. I'm going to ask you to hold your questions and maybe jot them down until the end, and we can take some questions at the end. And I'm going to share with you where I'd like for you to give me your feedback. So I would actually like you to get into the platform and play a little bit, get familiar with it, and then give me your feedback, and because that probably will answer a lot of your questions once you actually get in there. So like I said, thank you. I appreciate that you all took the time to be here today. And I've often heard David say that our agents are our customers, and you all are so important to him. So the DeltaNet 6 platform is just one way that he does his best to give you the competitive edge. We are the only broker in Southwest Florida to have the DeltaNet, and I believe it's one of the absolute best platforms in the industry. And it really has the tools that you need to succeed in today's competitive market. So I'm going to just jump in with what's new in the DeltaNet. So for starters, it's a lot more colorful, and color is very aesthetically pleasing for I know for me, when I log in, I like it much better. But there's more to it than just vibrant colors. Studies show that the use of color can be very powerful, and if it's used correctly, it can actually elicit emotions, positive emotions throughout your user experience. So in addition to the DeltaNet, where it's going to help us keep it in mind for your website and your brand, that the use of color has a huge impact when people are making decisions. So that's just a little side note. But as far as what's new in addition to the colors, the most important thing you're going to notice, of course, are the new tiles. And they are very colorful. And we have not yet made final decisions on how this is going to look. We have some feedback from our pilot team, but I'm going to wait to set it in stone until I get feedback from all of you. So the colors, right now, they're pretty random. But one of my questions for you is, would you like to continue to see them just randomly out there for just a nice way to look at things? Or would you like us to use the colors to categorize groups together? So in other words, everything in one category would be one color. And that gets a little tricky sometimes if a tile is in more than one category, but I would like a little bit of your feedback on that. We are going to, at the end, I'm going to ask you, we're going to do just a little bit of a poll, and I'm going to throw some things out, and I'm going to ask you to enter your comments in the chat. But before I go any further, I wanted to say this in the beginning. If you wouldn't mind, sometimes on the GoToMeeting, depending on the way you enter into the webinar, you show up as a caller number 1 or call 2 or just web. If you would please, if you don't see your name, go ahead and enter your name in the chat bubble right now so that I know that you attended today. And the reason I want you to do that is because within 30 minutes after this webinar, you'll be able to log into the DeltaNet and you will be active on DeltaNet 6. I'm going to just, everyone who attends today, I'm going to go in and add your name so that the next time you log in, you'll be seeing the new DeltaNet 6. And we're very fortunate that Delta is allowing us to roll it out that way. A lot of times with other tech companies, you know, it's all or nothing. So we have the privilege of activating you one at a time so that we can see who's actually getting in there and using it and trying the new tools. So if you would, like I said, just go ahead and put your name in the chat bubble. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you some more questions. So back to our tiles. That's one thing that I'm going to be looking for some feedback on is the color and the layout and the design of those tiles. They're fully customizable at the company level right now. So we can create the dashboard with the most important features and functionality. Our goal in all of this is to mirror your business processes so that the things that you do the most often are readily available at your fingertips. And now keep in mind, this is something really important for you to think about. How it looks on your dashboard is going to be different when you look at it on your mobile, on your cell phone. And at the end of the day, we do things with our cell phones. Most people have their phones with them all the time. You don't necessarily have your laptop or desktop with you all the time. So when you're in here and you're experimenting and learning and checking it out and giving me feedback, I would encourage you to please look at these tiles, look at the tasks, perform the features and functionality, perform the tasks that you would normally do on your cell phone, because we need it to work there as well as everywhere else. So in addition to the new tile layout, another thing that Delta has done, and I think this was one of the biggest things they've done, is you see the little gear icon on the screen. Well, on your DeltaNet 6, that little gear icon, you'll see it when we get there, is up in the right-hand corner. And they've moved all of the tasks that you would normally do your very first time getting into DeltaNet. And so for those of you who have taken Power Start, you're familiar with that day one where we go all through that overview page and we make sure your settings are correct. We make sure we get in your, your social media URLs and, all the things in the front end. We talk about your lead settings and a lot of things that you only really do one time or maybe once or twice a year. And so those have all been moved into the settings where before they were interwoven throughout the entire DeltaNet. So pulling those out of there makes it less convoluted. And so that's a really good thing. The next thing that they've done that's huge is a quick action search. So you're going to see where you can enter a word, a search term, and it's going to have a drop down like you see on my screen with everything in the entire DeltaNet that has that word in it. So it's a lot faster for you to find what you're looking for to do your daily tasks. And the beauty of this is it's fully customizable as well. So if you type in a word and it doesn't bring up what you think it should, or you can't find what you're looking for, that's huge. That's another important piece of feedback that I would really like you to share with me. And I'll show you where you can put that and how you can give me the feedback. There's several different ways, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But this key search term is designed for you to be able to find literally anything in the DeltaNet without having to click through categories or go through a lot of tiles. You can just type in the word you're looking for. So that's another thing. The last thing I'm going to mention before we get into the DeltaNet is the all-new Sales Pipeline Manager. And this is kind of an at-a-glance of your customers, so you know who you need to focus on, and it's about defining your sales goals for the year. Many of you have taken the business planning class that Cindy does, and you know, she talks a lot about how to set your goals for the year and then work your way backward to make sure that you're doing all the things you need to be doing. And this is just another tool that Delta offers for you to quickly, easily see what stage all of your customers are at in your pipeline so that you can get an idea if you're on track. And it kind of puts in all of their all the financial information of the goals and the percentages and the closings. And then it kind of keeps track for you throughout the year. So we're going to look at that as well. But those are the big main primary things. And it was all designed with you in mind to make this whole thing easier for you to do. Now, the last thing I'm going to share with you before we jump into Delta is the sales pipeline has different statuses, if you will. And the status is, at first, to me, were confusing, but that's probably because I'm not a realtor. I was kind of hung up on groups. And I want to be real clear with you in the difference between your groups and your sales pipeline labels. So your groups, like prospective buyers, prospective sellers, closed buyers, closed sellers, the things that, you know, the groups that we've set up in the past historically, those are all tied to an action, a campaign, a newsletter, an e-card. Those are putting your audience, your contacts into groups that tie into the actions and the communication that you want to have and going forward with those groups. The labels are really more like a status of where they are in the sales pipeline. So once you see it, it'll probably make a little bit more sense. And I'm sure it's probably making more sense to you than it did to me. But this is another area that I'd really like your feedback on. You know, do we have everything labeled correctly? Are our categories right? So now I'm going to jump over to the DeltaNet. And we're going to get in here and ta-da! I wish I could have made a drum roll, but I don't know how to do that on webinar. So here it is. Here's our DeltaNet 6 live. And like I said, at the end of this webinar, each one of you within 30 minutes will have access to this, and this is what yours will look like. So the first thing I want to touch on before I get into any of the tiles is up in the right-hand corner, like I said, remember the settings, this little gear settings icon. If you click on that, that's going to take you into the area that has all of those things that you do once in a while, or just initially the first time that you get into the system. So they've separated them out and it's a lot more streamlined. You only go there very, very infrequently. Back to the dashboard, one thing I want to mention to you is this is where, when you log in, this is where you should end up as your starting page. If not, you can come up here and click this. They've added this little make this my starting page. You could, maybe you want your CRM category to be your starting page, and each one of these categories on the left has more tiles, and we're going to go through them. But if this is not your starting page, you can click here and make it your starting page, or if you want something else, again, that's what you do here. If you decide later on that you want to come back and have this be starting, here's a reset start page. So as I mentioned, the categories on the left all have tiles. This particular dashboard will have, right now, it's got 10 tiles on it. This one, the DeltaNet 6 feedback, is going to go away. We may add a 4th row, we may not. It's really going to depend on your feedback. I've gotten right down the middle, 50-50 on agents that have seen it have said they want it to stay clean and streamlined and not have too many tiles. Others have said put as much as we can up front on the dashboard. So I told you I was going to share with you where I want you to give me your feedback. And if you click on this DeltaNet 6 feedback button, it's going to open up a questionnaire where you can go in here and you can put your name or not. I find that I get more real honest feedback if you don't put your name in there. But it goes to SurveyMonkey, so it does keep it anonymous. All I know is that somebody submitted one. And there are questions in here. What do you like most? What do you like least? And what could make it better? This is a great place for you to give me any feedback you want. What are the most important things that should be at the top level dashboard tiles? You know, are they labeled properly? Are they grouped appropriately? Questions about the pipeline and the search terms and how often you log in. So this is a short and easy feedback option. And the downside to this feedback button is that you can only submit it once. The first time you submit your feedback, it'll come to me, and then the next time if you try to go in again, it's going to say you've already completed the survey. In that case, what I would like you to do, because obviously you're going to have more feedback than just one sitting. I want to know over the next, 30, 60, 90 days what your thoughts are. And there could very easily be bugs. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to make this available. Let's see, where do I have this? On the DeltaNet, their phone number is on, this is their website, deltamediagroup.com, and their phone number is top right here. So if you ever forget the phone number, it's right here, quick and easy. You can call them, and they have a frontline help desk that's very, very beneficial. The other thing I wanted to mention is, let me see, get back over to the email. If you submit an email, support@deltagroup.com, and if you do submit an email, remember to CC me, and it's easy to remember, Karina Decker at Wagner Realty, and this is the number, and there's their website, like I just went to. And I will make that available. I'm going to follow up with an email to everyone that's on the webinar right now. I will follow up with an email, and I will provide the email, the phone number, the website, and a few other documents that I think you might need. So let's see. Make sure I cover everything. I'm going to go real quick overview down this home page, down the dashboard, if you will. We're going to touch on the tiles, but right below the tiles, we have, this is just an at-a-glance widget that tells you when you put your customers in and you're assigned things that you're supposed to do today, these are your activities for today. I have 211 active customers. I have 1 new lead. This is a quick way to get to the leads, and we'll come back to that in just a minute. Here's the pipeline that I was sharing with you earlier, and you can see here that you can add a customer to the pipeline. You can adjust your goals, so you can see here that I have a goal of $100,000 for the year, and based on the number of customers and the volume, the dollar sales volume, I'm 13% closed toward my goal, so I better get busy. But the cool thing about this sales pipeline is that depending on, if I click on this prospect label, it's going to show me everyone who is in that status. And then I can click on any one of them and adjust the information that we've added in there for that customer. And here's where I would change them into the next status of their pipeline. So this is a brand new piece to the DeltaNet, is the sales pipeline. The next one I have here is active. So you can see each time I click on it, it's going to going to show me who is in there. And I can make changes that way. This is reported upward, so office managers can get automated reports on this. So it's a great way to, share communication. Let's see. So that's the pipeline at a glance. There's a lot more to it, and there's a complete video tutorial that walks you through the entire pipeline. Harley does a good job of going through that. The next at a glance are the My Leads. And so it's going to show you all of your leads. Now I have one lead in here, and it was a showing request. Someone came to my website, which was me, clicked on a property, did a showing request. So if I come in here and click on this, it allows me now to see it was a showing. It gives me all the information, the showing date and time. And it shows me, here's where I can adjust the pipeline information if I want to put in at that time. Here are notes. And just a real quick, this is kind of a bells and whistles type of thing, and I'm obviously not getting into all the bells and whistles of DeltaNet 6 because there's a lot. But one of the new things that they've added that I'm excited about is when you're on your cell phone and you go to add a customer or you update an existing customer, either way, it should be less than 3 clicks to get to them, and you touch the notes section. It now does talk to text. So if you just spoke with a customer, you can pick up your phone, touch your DeltaNet icon, touch either add or manage a customer, and then the notes, and what you just start talking, and it'll record everything you say, and then you hit save, and so that note is in there for that customer. And I just think that's kind of a neat bells and whistle. Here's the history of every single thing that customer has done. And here's a way where you can respond directly from in here via email, phone, or other. If they requested a text communication, then you can reply by text. And then here's the contact information. So this is a real quick and easy way to manage your leads and get everything done in one-stop shop for that lead quickly and easily from your cell phone. Also down here are your calendars, and this will show every task and to-do, and they have now really streamlined the Google Sync with the calendar. So back a while ago, there were some little bugs in it. It now works perfectly. I've tried it. You can sync your Google Calendar with this calendar, so it'll include all of your events as well as all of your tasks for your customers, or you can keep them separate. And then the last thing are the My Tasks that you have lined up coming soon. So this is in a pretty quick and easy view of everything that you need to know for your customers and all of your marketing and your activities coming up and your leads. Now, what I'd like to do before I start clicking on the tiles is share with you, these are the ones that are on the dashboard. This one will go away, as I said, but each one of these on the left has more tiles underneath the category. So as you go through these and you see the additional functionality in here, if there's one of these tiles that you think belongs on the dashboard, please let me know that in that feedback form. Maybe you think that a reports is important, or the import-export, or logging a call. Whatever it is you think is important, maybe you want to see your groups at a glance. Let me know that. And each one of these, the marketing has a lot of tiles underneath here. If there are tiles, some of them are in duplicate places. So if there are tiles in 5 different places and you think, oh, that one's just way too many places, it only belongs here or there, let me know that. So you can see that under marketing, we have create a mailer, create an e-card, create a flyer, postcard, here's Bear Printing, Canva, reviews, haves and wants, manage your campaigns, create an ad, blog post, market watch, and so on. That's a lot in one place, but it's quick and easy to see what all's there. Then there's a listings category here. And when you get a new listing, you want to quickly and easily be able to know what it is that you should do for that listing. So here's all of the things that can be done. One of the recommendations that I had, well, it actually came from 4 or 5 agents that we are going to pursue, are some checklists. We're going to include in some checklists to say, when you get a new listing, here are things at a minimum that you should do. Now, everyone should receive, when you get a new listing, you should automatically get an email from Delta Media Group. And again, it's very colorful, and it says, congratulations on your new listing. You should have it within 12 hours of the time you put your listing in MLS. And in that email, it says, what would you like to do? Would you like to create a seller's report? Would you like to send an e-card? Would you like to set up an open house? Those are in that email to you. So if you're not getting that, I need you to let me know, because that's important. In the same way, you should be getting on the 9th of every month. So tomorrow, I want all of you to be watching for an email from Delta Media Group, which is an activity report of all the customers that have come to your website, all of the people who have engaged with you in any way via your website or DeltaNet, and it gives you a summary of the activity. If you're not getting that, please let me know that. You can email me or you can put it in the feedback form. Either way, it's just important. So, like I said, we're going to be adding in here a checklist of things that you need to do when you get a listing. Under the website category, now we have, many of you have seen, you know, where quick and easy, you click preview of your website and it opens up your website. Add a page. A lot of the functionality behind these tiles is exactly the same as it was before in DeltaNet 5. So you can see, you should all really be very familiar with this. Here are all the tabs. Here's new page. Nothing has changed in this at all. So this should look quite familiar to you. But again, just for quick and easy access, everything is streamlined here with these tiles. Add a new blog post, manage your theme, homepage design, even your domains. When you first set up your domains, and agents add new domains, buy new domains. So this is one that maybe it belongs over in settings, maybe not. Maybe it should be here under website. That's what we're looking for you to let us know. So if there's other things in here that you don't see, we're going to be adding an overview tile in here to take you to that page that we used to go to, where your picture and your phone number and your email and your analytics and your social media URLs. Terry realized that we don't have that on here. That's important. So we're going to add a tile to the overview page of your website here, and it should be in there within the next few days. So again, you're going to be seeing additional things. You're going to see a few tweaks, but that's all based on what you tell us. The last category is social media. And this one has your Facebook connector, your URLs, and doing a social media ad. And Delta has the wonderful ad wizard that you can do if that's not something you enjoy yourself. And then down here in the last category is other resources. Now maybe Cloud Delta should be at the top. And this is where we're going to be asking, I'm going to do the little poll at the end, and I'm going to give you a little list of tiles and I want you to just tell me what your top tile would be that you think should go added to the dashboard. For anyone who wants to jump in and put that in there, we're going to leave that for the end, but be thinking about these tiles. So the agent roster is in here. This is something that's quick and easy, that takes you to be able to see every agent in the company, their cell phone, their email, and other information, which office they're in. And that's very helpful, especially on your cell phone, quick and easy. So I'm going to jump back up to the dashboard. And looking at this tile layout, right now we have add a customer, because again, what we really want you to begin to do is be able to use your phone and not worry so much about going backwards and getting your whole database completely set up and everybody in all the right groups, although that's important and we want you to do it. It's not the most important thing. Going forward is where we want you to start with your DeltaNet 6. So 2 things. 1, you really need to have the DeltaNet icon on your phone. If you don't have it, it's not necessary. It's not an app per se. You don't go to find it in the App Store. All you have to do is go out, and if you're, open either Safari or Chrome, whatever you use, and you go to the online.wagnerrealty.com and you add it to your homepage on your phone. I have step-by-step instructions, and that email I'm going to send out to everyone who participated today. I'm going to send those out. Now, normally they would be in here, but that's one of the few things that they don't have converted to 6 yet with all the screenshots. So that's why I'm going to send it to you. So first, you need to have that DeltaNet icon on your phone. If you don't, you'll be getting the instructions to add it, because what we want you to do is to be able to quickly, anytime you talk with a person, pull up your phone, touch 2 buttons, and get that person either updated with what you just had the conversation with or add them into your database. And at that moment, you can quickly put them in a group or give them a label. If you put them in a group, that's what initiates that newsletter for them, so you stay in touch with them. So that's really what it's all about, is going forward, everyone you meet, everyone you know and come in contact with, it may be somebody you've known for a long time, but you don't have their email. It's a fast way to get them in your database and get them organized and get them set up. So I'm going to show you, I can't show you my phone necessarily, but I want to show you sort of what it will look like. And ignore all this stuff on the right. I just really wanted you to see over here on the left, this is what it's going to look like on your cell phone. So keep that in mind when you're deciding what tiles you think should be on the dashboard, because again, you don't want to have to scroll through 40 tiles to get down to your leads or your calendar or your tasks for the day. Okay, so this is what it would look like. Now keep in mind, on your cell phone, you always have this, they call it a hamburger. I guess I can see it, but I don't know. Anyway, it's these 3 lines on the top left, and you always have them. And if I click on that, then it gives me the rest of these categories that I can always go to find other things that I'm looking for. And you click it again and it closes. And here's your settings. So this is pretty much the entire Delta and how it looks on your phone. So I'm going to go back here and let's see. So that's add a customer, create an e-card. Remember, like I said, when I click this, it should look so familiar to you. The only difference is now they've broken them all up where it's create an e-card, create a flyer, create a postcard, create a brochure. So you no longer have to click this in the middle that you used to have to click to choose the type. And I got to tell you, if you haven't been in here in a while, you really need to get into these e-cards. They have some of the most, they won an award for the design and layout of their e-cards. And one more really cool thing I'll share with you is that next month in July, that's when they're slated to roll out fully customizable e-cards. Right now, they're pretty customizable. If I go here and I pick generic, and I want to do a customizable card and put in a lot of my own stuff, I can. And here's an example of that. Here's somebody had asked for a lot more Florida type. Well, here's a good Florida card, e-card. So when I click on that, you can see the customizable where I can change colors. I can change these images. I can upload my own images now. Just go out and click upload, or I can use one that's in my library. I'm not going to go into any of the rest of this because you've all seen it, but this is a great way to customize. You can change, you know, instead of find your dream home or instead of new listing or sold, you can put in whatever you want, you know. And so if you want to share about whatever the high features of this listing, what are the highlights? So you can see this is very customizable, but where we're going is much, much more customizable. You're going to actually be able to design the layout of your own e-card just by drag and drop. So I'm excited to see that. They said in early July, and I will let you know as soon as it's available. But getting back to how quick and easy it is from your dashboard, add a customer, send an e-card. The Market Watch, this is really new. The Market Watch itself has been around a long time per customer, so you could set it up before for a customer. So you could just go in and create a Market Watch report that gets emailed to them. But now this is really cool. I can tell you that one of the top highest feedback ratings that Delta's gotten and that I've received from agents is this Market Watch. The way it is sent, what it looks like, the information it presents is second to none. It just really makes you look great, like you've done a lot of work for your customers. And up until DeltaNet 6, you could do it at the level of one customer. Now they've given you the ability to do it for one customer, for a group of customers, or you can actually do a Market Watch from here and set it up to where it posts out automatically to all your social media. That's huge because it's value to the customer that I always talk about. It links them back to your website, to that Market Watch on your website, where they then can find a lot of more information about the market that you put out there. You decide whether you want them to go weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, or twice a year. So if you were to set this up today, it schedules it to go out 1 week from today. However, if you wanted it to go right now, you can just hit the share button on Facebook or, you know, any of them. If you wanted to email it to someone, you can. If you wanted to just copy the link and send it to someone. So that's really valuable. And if I click on the actions button here, you can see that you can print it and they're beautiful. We've asked for this for a long time to be able to have a printable Market Watch. I know Carol Cadell was one of the very first ones way back a year ago to say, I need this printable. And so they've added that. You can preview it and it looks so nice when your customers get it. Now I'm going to show you. They've included a photo here because statistics show that people's eyes are drawn to the visuals, pictures, and video. However, they've given you the option, if you don't want that there, and many of you may not, you can take it out, and then this would be what your Market Watch would look more like without the picture, and I'll show you where you can take that picture off. But it has all of your information. Contact me, you know, property search, what the market trends are, the, you know, asking price, days on site, properties for sale, solds. It's just, you know, just listed. This is really a beautiful laid out piece. Let's see, if you wanted to assign it to just a person, that's as easy, just add to customers. And it brings up a little box where you can type in the name of a customer. And I have a customer in here, Willie Buy Soon. I was trying to be funny, but my attempt wasn't that great. So I could add him in, done, and Willie would begin to get this Market Watch. That's as easy. Also the same way to add it to a group. If you have a group set up and you want to set them all receiving a Market Watch, you can do it at the city level. Now, keep in mind, if you do it in the city level, you might want to target it down and narrow it down some more. But you don't want them to get 12 pages on and on. And before I leave the Market Watch, I do want to just mention one thing. There seems to be some real confusion between the Market Watch and the saved search. The Market Watch is, as it says, a report about the market and how the market is doing and how the properties are on the market. The saved search really is set up specific to a customer, and it's where the Market Watch runs a certain timing of weekly or biweekly or monthly or quarterly, however. The saved search is set up for your customers individually, and they receive as listings come on the market for that meet the criteria, just like it's done in MLS. So that's the difference between the saved search and your Market Watch, and I just wanted to make that really clear. So I think the Market Watch, in my opinion, is one of the coolest things that they added for DeltaNet 6. The website tile takes you over to all the things that you can do on your website. Like I said, preview, add a page, blog post, your theme, homepage design. This is a place that, you know, a lot of agents spend a lot of time. The next thing on the dashboard, your forms, form simplicity, transaction desk, training. This is going to be where we have that webinar page. This is where we have tutorials. We have the training calendar and upcoming events in there, external resources. This is where we have leading RE and Bear printing. Canva, John had asked us to add Canva to the marketing and the dashboard. And so we have them on both. Cloud CMA. So anything these are all like outside of DeltaNet, if you will, but still critically important to you as the agent. Maybe one of those should be at the top level on the dashboard and not necessarily under external resources. Our leading RE is single sign-on that takes you there where you can access Institute. And then the last thing that I want to go over with you that I think you'll find helpful is help and support. This is where they've spent a lot of time trying to give you the best they have to offer in the way of searching to get help on anything. Now, as most of you already know, Harley does Tech Tuesdays every Tuesday, and they're live at 10. I want them to make this a little bigger, but it's this little playlist. It looks almost like that hamburger thing, but with a little arrow. But here are the playlists. So you can see at a glance every single tutorial that Harley's ever done. So if you wanted to learn something about anything about campaigns and action plans, or how to manage your sold listings, or AVM reports, adding and editing listing media, e-cards and flyers, the new update, any of this, he's got a tutorial quick and easy right here. Also, there are guide topics. You can type in anything. So if I wanted to find out about the pipeline, I just start typing pipeline, and here it shows me. Now this is beautiful. This is what you all have asked for. I put in sales pipeline, I searched for it, I found it, I click submit, and voila. Over to the right is step by step instructions. In addition to his tutorials, you now have these instructions, and by next week, you all should see a print button right here at the top, because I asked for that. But until then, you can actually right-click and hit the print button and print out the instructions to almost anything that's in the DeltaNet that you want to do, and there they are. So I was hoping to, that's kind of one of my grand finales, is that so many of you had asked for a way to get help and print it out in a little, quick reference kind of sheet. Well, here it is. In addition, here's categories. So his Tech Tuesday videos, if you want information on customers or leads or general, this is where you can click in there and they give you some options. Frequently asked questions on DeltaNet 6. I would encourage you to really just get in here, get familiar with how this works, play around, and, anything you want to know, you're going to be able to find the answers. If you type something in and you can't find the answers, let me know. Put it in an email or a phone call or feedback. You can text me. I don't care, but I want you to let me know, you know, what you think and what you couldn't find, more importantly. I do want to know what you like, but more importantly, I want to know what you need and what you can't find and what's missing. Okay, so I'm running out of time. I need to wrap it up. Let's see. Is there anything that I have forgotten on here? I don't think so. That's pretty much it. Okay. All right. So that's the DN6 in a nutshell. To be honest, I've just scratched the surface. You're going to find a lot more things that I haven't even had a chance to cover. I couldn't possibly cover everything, but I hope that you jump in and get ready and start playing. You can't break anything that we can't fix. And now what I'd like to do is a quick poll. So if you would, in the chat, I'm going to give you a list of some things, and I'd like you to just say the number one thing from this list that you think would be a good candidate for the dashboard on the top. So this is based on the pilot group's feedback, and they had suggested some things. So number one, and I just finished compiling it, otherwise I would have done a screen for you. So, but number one, a tile called listings, so that when you get a listing, you know what to do with it. Number two, haves and wants tile. Many of you use that haves and wants, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a quick and easy way for you to send a quick email to the entire company, all agents in the company, 220 people, about anything real estate related, a listing, a seller you have, a buyer you have, anything that you want to share with the company. Number three would be reviews. The reviews are a very important part of your marketing, and they're getting more and more important. And we have found a way now to get people to give you Google reviews instead of just the review to your website, but a Google review. And we do that using a campaign for a closed buyer. So at the time that you close with a seller or a buyer, the email goes automatically and it asks them, would you please click here to give me a review? And it ends up being a Google review, which is powerful, very, very valuable. So number one, listings. Number two, haves and wants. Number three, reviews. And then I have three more. The property search. In addition to the Market Watch, would you find it useful to have a property search? Now, again, keep in mind, you can only do that for one customer. And you could do that when you click on your, we have a button called Manage Customer. And that could be right at the top where you can go in and find any customer in your database and set up a search, set up a Market Watch, do whatever you need to do, add a note. So manage customer or property search, either one of those. And then open house. Maybe you just get a new listing and you want to create an open house for that new listing. You know, I think that should go under listings, but you may feel like it's important. And I did get enough people to say they thought open house was important, so I'm adding that in the list. And then the last one is seller's net sheet. You know, the WR title net sheet. Many agents use that very frequently, and we can have a tile that just links right straight to that. So number one, listings. Two, haves and wants. Three, reviews. Four, property search or manage customer. Five, open house. Six, seller net sheet. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and just type one of those in your chat bubble. So I can get that feedback right now, because I really want to get this dashboard kind of, you know, ironed out. So, okay, I'm going to check to see. Perfect. Thank you. I see everybody's doing this. Awesome. 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 Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate your help. And like I said, you know, in addition to what you just gave me in here, click on this feedback button. Now, if you have additional questions, I am going to stay on the line for another 7 or 8 minutes until 4 o'clock, because again, I respect your time. It's very valuable, and I know you're all busy. So I'm going to stay on the line for a few more minutes, and if you have questions, you know, specific to anything that may prevent you from getting into DeltaNet, let me know. Otherwise, get in here and play, put your questions in your feedback form, and you know, if you have feedback, click this button right here, this green button, and let me know what you think. It will, like I said, it will take you right into a form where you have lots of places to add what you're thinking. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna stay on the line just for, you know, a few more minutes. Put your questions in that feedback button, unless there's something you have to ask right now that, you know, maybe it involves getting into the DeltaNet or something. Otherwise, I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you all. You guys have done a great job of being patient, waiting for DeltaNet 6. And I will make this recording available on that wagnerrealty.com/webinars. All right, everybody. Thank you. And until next time, stay safe.